Welcome, everybody. It's another exciting edition of the Sports Hole. I'm your host, Luke. With me, as always, XFL Jim, rock and roll Matty Goldberg. It's March Madness, guys. How we feeling? How we doing?
I'm so hyped. This is a great week. We got the Sweet 16 for March Madness. We got the Elite Eight, and I got the start of the UFL.
It's got opening day tomorrow.
Well, Friday
Baseball.
for me.
What? For
Baseball.
Baseball.
No, that was like weeks ago in Tokyo.
That doesn't count.
That's how baseball starts every
Baseball
year.
starts in the USFA,
Nah.
just like French kissing.
And French fries.
And salad tossing.
Salad
tossing.
tossing.
Rim jobs, all American made.
Yeah, rim jobs are exclusively American or just
American made.
You don't
He's
outsource
right.
your rim jobs?
No, hell no.
Okay.
But interesting tournament so far.
How are your brackets looking?
My brackets are great because I didn't have a lot of upsets, and this is the talk of the tournament
Yes.
because everybody's all up in arms that this is the NIL is going to kill the tournament.
Yeah.
But I'm one for the powerhouse teams, and I kind of like this. I like when Duke is Duke. I like when the good teams are good.
Sure.
An upset now means a lot more. I know I sound like I'm probably in the minority with most people because they like the parity. They like that the mid-majors caught up. But now the powerhouse teams are definitely super strong. Hey, what's up?
And I love the upsets, obviously, and it's really fun when an upset team can make it pretty far. But there are positives, like Maddie is saying, when there's no upsets not really any upsets in the first couple rounds.
Yeah.
Well, the Sweet 16 matchups are looking juicy.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think it could get interesting here, and we can see some big teams go down. But Colorado State, which I did have in the Sweet 16, were the closest team to being like a true, Cinderella 12 seed kind of mid-major conference.
I was going to say, like, the only quote-unquote Cinderella left is Arkansas.
See, I wouldn't count them as ours.
I know, right?
Because they play in the SEC. They play against good. They have a big-time coach.
They're historically pretty good, too. Like, they've had a good job
in 92 or something, and they lost in night. Like, they went back-to-back. They lost the second one. But, St. John's. Like, I didn't watch enough of this year, but if you can't shoot, if you don't have outside shooters and you're not scoring easy baskets, then you're fucked. And they were fucked.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Arkansas quote-unquote Cinderella. So they made the Sweet 16 2 years ago in 23.
Yeah.
And in 22 they made the Elite Eight.
Exactly. So they're not really they're a big they've been a good basketball school, from Nolan Richardson, and then they kind of fell off the map a little, but there isn't really that sleeper St. Peter's. There's not that super 15 seed, 14 seed.
And I'm waiting, I'm obviously NIL is affecting things to some extent.
Yes.
I am waiting to judge fully till we see a larger sample size, because wasn't it just like a year or two ago that we had a very low seed?
Well, how long has the NIL been around?
Since 22?
Yeah, it's only been a couple of years.
Well, I think this year it's really showing like the big teams are taking over. I mean, it is honest. It's just, what do you like? Do you want to see the big teams dominate, or do you want to see the little teams, have a fighter's chance? But I would love to see before the NIL from 22 to 2012 or something, what the lower seeds did, how many upsets, because I think there was only one or two seeds that lost that I can remember. And then the last 10 years, I'm going to say 5 or 6 got beat. And now it just seems like we had 2 number 1 seeds lose in the last 10, 12 years. And I don't think it will happen in a long ass time now.
So looking back through history, you had Fairleigh Dickinson in 2023. They
Hmm.
were a 16 seed,
Yeah.
beating Purdue.
And then 18 was the
You
multiple.
had you had UMBC, yeah.
Yeah.
You had St. Peter's as a 15 seed in 22. You had
Yeah.
Princeton as a 15 seed in 23. Oral
Hmm.
Roberts in 21.
Yeah.
Um, Trying to look back other ones
It
that were
probably
fairly
like
recent.
up until
And
10,
then
15,
NC State last year as an 11 seed.
and now, but there's still an ACC team that caught lightning in a bottle.
Loyola as well
Okay.
as an
Yeah,
11
Loyal
seed.
Chicago. But that was before the NIL.
Yeah, that was
Way before, 7, 8 years ago.
2018. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny
So
because yeah, like NIL, you don't even have to do much to mess with the, football team. A lot more players, and basketball team far fewer players. So just one or two of your main dudes go off. Now those guys are all going to go to the major schools now. They're not going to, when you had these senior heavy teams at the mid majors, and usually there might be one unheralded star, like or unnationally known star, kind of
Yeah.
leading these guys. And now, I don't know. And again, Jim, I think you're right. We'll wait and see because everything kind of works themselves out. But
We'll see next
let,
year. If we see this next
yeah,
year, we can now say like it's changed, and then it's debatable whether it's changed for better or worse. But
I mean, I would argue. I mean, there's good ass. There's like it's not just one or the other. There's the good aspects of the matchups, but also it sucks that these schools are getting shit on. Basically, it
yes.
does suck because like who was the Drake head coach that left?
well, Rick Pitino left right away.
Great.
I
Yeah, but
mean,
these guys like when
Richard.
coaches are leaving, they're taking like
Yeah.
the entire roster with them
No,
now.
they do. Dusty May of
Yeah.
Yes.
Florida Atlantic took the, Golden is a great center. He's an NBA player.
Well,
He
and he
left.
took Wolf from a Yale team that
Yeah.
Yep.
won their first round too.
It's
I
wild.
mean,
Somebody
yeah,
sent me a thing of like where all the players played last year.
yeah,
And some teams you wouldn't even know who, like they have no players. Like Kentucky has no players that played last year on their team. Whereas Marquette, who fucking died in the first round, they don't use the transfer portal and they were out and one and done. Big disappointment.
yeah.
Which now thinking like, is Shaka Smart really that good of a coach?
Is he really that smart?
Well, he's kind of lives off the one Final Four. I think
Yeah,
the whole of the tournament, though, I gotta say, I picked Florida. Florida's my final. They were on the ropes, and the way I saw that game, Dan Hurley, he wanted to win that game more than even probably one of his championships because it's easy to win when you got the horses, but when you're a low seed and you're up against a number one seed that's the number one team in the country, and you can knock them off in the second round, you now like become a great fucking head coach. Like you become a legend. And he saw that. And he got
well,
close, but his team fell apart and then
yeah.
it was on the refs.
So I think we got to talk about this guy.
He's pretty intense.
He's pushing it. He's pushing it, and now he's got Goombas working with him too that are pushing it as well. So
I like that he walks the line though.
after the game,
Yeah.
Hurley was filmed,
Saying you
talking
fuck.
to Baylor, saying, "I hope they don't fuck you like they fucked
Yep.
us." Let's see if we
Yeah.
can catch that. It's kind of quiet, but
I heard.
I hope they don't do that to you, man. See, I'd be fired at my job if I did that.
Yeah, that's pretty wild because you're supposed
It's
to
like a
like
60-year-old dude, too.
you're supposed to relax and go back and then compose yourself,
Win
then
with
go
class,
impress,
yeah.
and then
Nah,
not
fuck winning
plan
with
to
class.
win.
Fuck winning with class. I'm over that shit.
But he had his bad moment, and but that just builds his legacy.
Well,
He's
then,
kind of
then his what is it like PR for the men's basketball coach like threatened the reporter, saying he would fuck his life up.
Yeah, the SID can't be doing that. Like
Yeah,
Dan Hurley can like be an asshole and a prick.
yeah.
SID probably not.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, he threatened to ruin a guy's life if he did not take down that video.
I mean, how do you not take it down? I mean, you have a coach cursing. It's a viral moment. I mean,
Yeah,
the whole world is based on viral moments.
but I guess my point is that like with when Hurley's getting away with this shit, then now all of the people working in his in his sphere are sort of copying that behavior. Now you're going to get just a fucking joke of a program after a while, even if they are winning games. And don't get me wrong, a part of me
Yeah.
does enjoy this because it gives us something to talk about.
I love it. I mean, I love him being a butthole, and
Yeah.
it's a line to toe because I love college basketball characters,
Yeah,
and
you need some of that. I have no problem with him. I mean, it's not something you want to be proud of, but this is the reputation he wants to give. This is the image he wants, and it's like if you want that image, you got to live with it. Like you want to be like Bobby Knight, you want to be crazy, you want to do all this stuff, you want to make it about you, whatever. Like you know what you're doing.
hmm
As spontaneous as you are, you know what you're doing.
there are things that come with that.
Yeah.
Well, and you have to win too.
Well,
Like
he wins. He's got
Juwan
two
Howard
rings.
did some dumb shit early on, and he was winning, and then he wasn't winning, and
Exactly. You
now he's
can't punch a
jobless.
coach when you're losing.
And I think Hurley, of course, will win no matter where he's at or what.
Oh yeah,
He is a great coach. There's nothing
he
about that.
is, and he
But
showed it because they outplayed Florida until the last 4 minutes.
yeah, that was shocking. I mean, they don't have the dogs like they did last year, and they fucking took it right down to the end with Florida.
But he knows if he wins that game, everybody goes, "This is a great coach."
Yep.
And he can figure out how to be the number one team that's much better as an A seed without
Yeah.
coming off a bad year. And I really think he wanted this game so bad. They just died the last 4 minutes. Uh, but so far the story is just kind of the big teams dominating, and we'll see what happens in the Sweet 16. I think there'll be a little more parity. I see.
Well,
I can see.
let's go through the games.
I just want
Yeah,
some close games. That's really what I
Yeah,
want.
let's start with Auburn versus Michigan.
I can see Michigan winning. I think Auburn wins.
Banger.
But I think it's going to be very close.
Auburn's look shaky in their games, dude.
Oh, they're
Yeah, they've
favored
been
by
shaky the
eight
last
and a
Not,
month.
half, though,
dude,
too.
I'm seeing 9.5 at some games.
Wow.
The one thing Michigan has is they can match up with Broom. You got Golden,
Yeah.
you got Wolf, so you got some big guys that can match up with them. It's going to come down to their little guys scoring, which they have. I mean, they really turned it around. They came into the Big Ten tournament a mess, and Auburn has not played well the last month. They really haven't.
No. So,
So
Michigan's hot.
I would say Auburn has a slight edge, but I think Michigan covers.
all right. Let's go to Ole Miss, Michigan State.
I'm
Beard
taking the
versus
upset.
Izzo.
Oh, it's a good
I
game.
kept betting. You got to bet against Michigan State first half. They're one of the worst first half teams ever. I keep hitting money line against them first half. They get better as the game going, but they are horrific the first half. They're always overvalued. Their over-unders are overvalued. Take the under and the other team money line. Ole Miss has been looking great. And Chris Beard, to me, is a top 5 college coach. I mean, I don't know what happened to Tech. I mean, I know why he got fired, but I mean, they got a top 5 coach.
Yeah. Oh no, he's a great coach, and I think
Yeah.
Michigan State seems to do well, and then usually never close the deal. But they've been playing really good
They've
ball
been
this
playing
year.
so
Yeah.
good.
So I don't know.
The first half they really haven't.
Yeah. This I feel this could go either way. I would probably give the slight edge to Michigan State. I mean, I don't know how many more years Izzo has in him either, and to
I mean,
think.
Ole Miss can bomb them out, though. Trust me, Ole Miss
Oh
can
no,
beat 'em, and they can bomb them out. And Michigan State plays sloppy the first half.
yeah,
It's not going to be that easy.
yeah. So you're going Ole Miss on this. Okay, we'll keep
Yes.
going straight down. We got Florida versus Maryland.
Banger.
I
You think
disagree.
Maryland
I
can
think
hang with these
Maryland
guys?
stinks.
No, but I think they can like keep it close for like a half, and then Florida
Uh-huh.
pulls away. I think
I think
Florida
Okay.
ends up
Florida
pulling away.
kills them. I think when you taste death like Florida did, it will help them. And they'll play a lot looser. And I think, Maryland, had to get a lucky play to win. A lot of people say they got a traveling on that, but it's too close to not change. I love Florida to win big here.
Yeah, they're deep too.
And
So,
Very
Florida's so
you
good.
know,
They're so fun.
as the game goes on, they're going to wear them down. I'm pretty convinced of that. Next up, Texas Tech versus Arkansas, the Fighting Caliparis.
This game I can't get a read on. I haven't watched enough of Texas Tech, even though I know they're very good, and I know
Mhm.
Arkansas has a lot of heart. I think they might be a little drained because that game is so interesting just because of the coaches.
Mhm.
And it's wild in college basketball because I was looking at thing, the top three searches of college basketball Saturday were Rick Pitino and John Calipari. It wasn't even a player. So it was almost like these two old Italians, they hate each other. Like they're two like prime Moss Bobs, different syndicates
Yeah.
that are
You know,
arch
you know,
enemies.
what'd be really good TV is putting those two like in a Survivor type game.
Well,
And
they kind of did.
the, well, I mean, like where they have to like talk to each other and
Yeah. Well, they did
manipulate
at
each
the end.
other.
A lot of these matchups, there's a lot of like no coincidence of why it happened. I
Yeah.
mean, they were definitely like, look, if Kansas loses to Arkansas, we're gonna get Calipari versus Patino, and
And it
that's
was
gonna be fun.
beautiful. It was.
It was it was almost like Arkansas played for their coach. Like I could tell Calipari wanted this one bad, and they played for their coach, and St. John's was just horrendous. And then there's controversy because he benched their star player at the end of the game. And I gotta agree with Patino. The guy doesn't shoot from the outside. He was getting destroyed on the inside, and it's like, what do you do there? Like he's not helping him. It's a tough debate sometimes. Like when
I,
you
I I also like
star
that
players
because you know
struggle.
there's a dwindling amount of old East Coast Italians in the game too. You know,
Well,
those
now the
are
Big East has two of them because Richard's going to Xavier.
Yeah.
well, like there was back in the day when the Big East was good. There was a lot more like these East Coaster
Yeah, Louis
Italian dudes.
Carnesecca at St. John's.
Yeah, yeah. Oh God, yeah, yeah. Raleigh
Yeah, he was the
Massimino,
ultimate.
like all that.
Raleigh
Like a lot of the
Massimino.
announcers were like these Italian dudes and
Yeah.
stuff too. So uh it's
The
just
great Rony Cycli at Syracuse.
wait,
He
he's
does
not good.
hold the record for the most rebounds in an NBA game. I don't know if you knew that.
Ronnie Cycli?
Oh yeah. 32.
Really? I
Yeah.
didn't know that. I don't think he's Italian though, by the way. He's Lebanese.
Oh, I thought he was Italian.
I actually thought he was Greek forever.
I
But
think he's Italian.
no, he's Lebanese. I'm looking it up right
Oh,
now.
all
He's
right.
actually born in Beirut.
Okay, see that
Doesn't
much
get any
I know.
more Lebanese than
Why did
that.
I get that one wrong? Wait.
I think because he just looks this ambiguous, Middle Eastern Mediterranean
There's a guy
ethnicity.
in Arizona that's so Italian, D'Alessandro or whatever, with that stupid haircut.
Yeah,
I mean, my hair looks like shit, so I shouldn't talk, but he might have the worst haircut in the whole tournament.
I gotta look this dude.
He looks like a reject Ralph Macchio.
Andres. Oh wait, no, that's not him. Anyway,
And his
all right.
mother looks like they always show their mom. She looks like Daniel LaRusso's mother from like Karate Kid.
Okay, going on. We got Duke versus Arizona.
Duke's gonna kill him.
Duke heavily favored in this one.
Yeah, Duke's gonna
I
murder
was
him.
so disappointed watching Arizona versus Oregon. I've never seen a team play so bad in the second half and win, with just making dumb mental error after mental error and basically not being able to close a game out, like giving Oregon every chance to the end to sneak a win.
Mm.
when you're the better team.
Right.
I wasn't impressed with Arizona. It's like I get when you play a better team, you
Hmm.
play looser because you're on house money,
Yeah.
but they showed me nothing last game versus Oregon,
Mm.
except for Caleb Love that played out of this world. But one guy, you're gonna need a team to beat Duke. Duke is loaded.
Yeah, and they're playing well too. It's
Yes.
beyond just the talent; they're really gelling at a
I
good
really
time.
think Duke used up a lot of their energy in the first two games. It always seemed like they were on cruise control.
Yeah,
Yeah, it did.
they're in it. BYU, Bama.
I love BYU. They
I
were
love
one of
this
my sleeper
game.
teams. I have them to the Elite Eight. Uh, I think they still win. I think Alabama is good. I mean, this game is
Their
very
coach is
evenly matched.
great. I remember he was
Yeah.
really heralded when he was hired there.
Yeah, Nate Oates is a very good coach.
No, it's not
But
Nate, or oh, you mean for Bama?
but
Yeah,
BYU has a couple fucking studs. The Saunders kid and the point guard are
yeah.
terrific. And they put up points.
And all it takes is for Bama to get a little bit cold, which they've shown to do plenty of
Yes, they do.
times.
And BYU's not going to shoot like St. Mary's. I mean, St. Mary's couldn't get a bucket.
No, same here.
So
That game was awful,
you're now
dude.
playing against one of the best offensive teams in the country, as opposed to one of the worst teams in the tournament.
All right, moving on. We have Houston and Purdue.
I think Houston wins. I think it'll be close. Although this is a game
This
they
could be a
can't.
blowout.
Yeah, I don't think a blow. I think Purdue plays them hard. But Houston should win.
Yes.
Right.
Houston's banging teams right now too.
Got a great regional matchup too. Kentucky, Tennessee.
Love my Vols here. I got a plus 20, 25 to 1 future bet on Tennessee to win
Wow.
it all. I
Wow.
believe in them. I wish they had a little more offense, but they definitely, for the price I got them at 25 to 1, I believe in them. I feel like Kentucky has had a great year. Like most Kentucky fans, like to know they got to the Sweet 16 in an absolute rebuilding season, they got to be so happy. So anything after this is gravy. Where I think Tennessee will make the Final Four in that region.
Yeah.
So Kentucky right now, this is a what, 1-1?
What do you mean
Like
one and one?
Kentucky's won one match this season, and then
Oh, you mean the
Tennessee's won
head-to-heads?
one.
Yeah, I don't know. Didn't they
I
throw
think
all
so.
that shit out though? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
This is the tournament, buddy.
I don't know, man. This is a good matchup. I'm
And
very
I like
excited for this
Tennessee to
one.
win by six to 8 points.
I think it's gonna be a little closer.
And they win on
I don't know.
defense. They will win on defense.
Interesting.
I'm excited for this game. I'm excited for this one. Ole Miss, Michigan State, Michigan, Auburn, Arkansas. I'm excited for all of them, dude. I think they're all gonna be
Have the
bangers.
first two rounds changed your opinions on any teams?
Yeah, it's a little disappointed in certain teams. Like I was disappointed in St. John's. Like I didn't realize that they weren't built for the tournament. And
Hmm.
I'm like, they got to go get a 3-point shooter. I was a little disappointed. I mean, Florida, like I was a little disappointed, but they stepped it up when they needed to. And that one kid, like, just willed them to win at the end. And that was impressive, but they didn't have their best game. And like, I remember something the old coach for Temple said, I forget it, John Chaney. He said he was a 1 seed. They got beat in the second round one year. And he said there will always be for a top team, there's gonna be a game they're gonna get a hell of a scare. And if you can get past that game, you'll be all right. And if you can't, you're fucked. And once Florida gets past that game, I think they're gonna start cruising.
I've also been impressed with Arkansas. Like they've had a pretty rough
Yeah.
season, up and down. Ever since
Mhm.
the SEC tournament, they've been kind of impressing me.
I mean, you see how bad Calipari wanted it. Like, you just feel the intensity from his guys, and they were playing for him, and they kind of understood like after last year, he was almost like a joke, and people were just seeing him as a recruiter and not a real coach, and basically like keeps losing to like super low seeds. And he needed to really show something this tournament, and he did.
And I get that they keep winning, but I've also been a little disappointed in Auburn.
Auburn has been bad though in the last 2 weeks. Like they lost like 4 out of 6 coming into the tournament. And I can't be that mad at them in the tournament because Creighton is a tough matchup. I had Creighton first half money line. I hit it. Creighton has a great center. They have a couple good players. And that's a tough matchup. Creighton to me was like a 5 seed. And Auburn did win by 8 or 9. So I think they're gonna refine it. But we'll see. Michigan can beat them. Like Michigan can beat them.
You're damn right.
All right. Anything else to add on the tournament before we move on?
No, it's just a lot of fun, and we need another 3 or 4 years to really see what the NIL will do, and maybe this is just the 1 year where all the favorites win.
And I want some buzzer beaters.
We got one.
Yes, but I want more.
I mean, sometimes there's 4 in the first round, and then sometimes there's none. You never know.
I really just want some buzzer beaters.
It's the most exciting thing ever. Are you wearing a Maple Leaf shirt?
Yeah, someone gifted me this Toronto Maple Leaf shirt with my name on the back.
Yeah.
All right.
You got to have a funny thing like
I think it's reversible too.
Yeah.
Where I got the yellow on the inside.
Wow.
I like the ones like ES 69.
I do have a custom hockey jersey that just says Slut Squad.
Or 9/11 was an inside job.
I like Slut Squad.
That's what I thought.
No, I remember there was a jersey at a Rams game, and the number was 6, and then his name was just January.
Yeah.
That's good.
It was really funny too because people on Reddit were so upset. Like, oh my God, I can't. I'm like, dude, fucking chill.
Yeah.
All right. We do have some other sports news going on. Russell Wilson to the Giants on a 1-year deal. They also signed Jameis Winston as well.
I was really hoping this was going to be the Jameis chance, damn it.
No.
The Jameis chance.
It's sad because I think Brian Dable will get fired after the season. And
100%
he deserves to be fired.
You're like, he sucked, but give me a break. I mean, Bill Belichick would get fired with those two quarterbacks. Like,
I get it, but it was like before
Daniel Jones, Tommy DeVito. You gave him fucking now.
Well, you can't win with some guy and then not win with him. That's the problem.
Well,
that was the big problem. If he had that successful season with Daniel Jones and then
that's the expectation.
And then they paid him too.
It's really not fair. I mean, can you blame the guy? How is he you go, hey, you got Russell Wilson and you got Jameis Winston, go make the playoffs in a loaded division.
Who knows what they could do? What they're probably going to do is just tank again this year and then try to, I don't know how the quarterback class is looking next year.
Yeah.
But, they're top 3 right now. They'll probably pick up
and aside from Cam Ward, it's probably like a mid-first rounder, and Shedeur Sanders keeps hurting himself.
Yeah.
You go, well, there's no quarterback.
Yeah, I don't think it's worth it to take a quarterback. Take one next year.
Exactly.
Especially if you're playing on fire and Dable anyway. Don't let him have your quarterback.
Yeah. They should bring in Lovie Smith.
Well, my feeling with Brian Dable is
the tank master.
If this is what you're giving, if I was Dable, I would just resign.
Well, you're right. In theory, you could, but there's also he's probably going to be making a buttload of money. It's too late to get a head coaching job anywhere else.
Get more for being fired because of the contract situation.
You want to go through camp and all this stuff and everything to embarrass yourself when look. I've seen miracles happen, but for the Giants to succeed with those 2 guys, it's got to be a miracle. I mean,
What
Russell
Well,
is-
he's going to make
yeah,
his money because after this, he's got to go be a coordinator again
Yeah.
for a few years until he gets out of coaching jail. And
I mean, Russell Wilson
What's the ceiling with Russell Wilson, and what's the ceiling as a
will
starter?
have
What's
a
the ceiling
good
with
4 games,
Jameis?
and then after 4 games, we'll start like going down. And if Jameis gets in, Jameis will have like that one game that you
yeah,
like 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. Whoa. And then next week, no touchdowns, 3 picks. The week after that, 1 touchdown, 4 picks. And you're like, this is the same old, same old. I mean, it just seems like he's never gonna have that even Geno Smith moment where he turns it around. He's just kind of gonna be from one team to the next, probably for another 3 more years until he hangs it up. And he's one of those guys that's gonna take a while to hang it up. I can just feel like he don't want to go out easy.
His
nah.
best record is 9-7.
All right, we got Stefon Diggs to the Patriots. Drake May
I don't
has his
really get
diva
this move.
receiver.
I don't get this. I think it's a bad fit.
It's weird. You definitely know Belichick isn't there anymore. You know,
Well, he's
like
a head case, and he also is one of those guys that like it wasn't good enough to be on the Bills. So there's still going to be growing pains on the Patriots. They're not gonna. Hey, they could have an interesting season, but not like a contending season. So he's more of like a contender type rented guy. Like you go, he like any
right.
team that needs like that one extra wide receiver to make him really good. He's
See
perfect, but
the new Brandon Cooks. I don't know.
he'd be perfect in Kansas City, to be honest. Like he should have gone to Kansas
He'll
City,
probably be there in like 2 years. Yeah.
Probably.
probably, but like it's not a good fit because he's also he wants the ball. And I don't know, like he's gone from like you're the last piece for Houston to win the Super Bowl to this young quarterback. You got to help him develop, and it's like we might not win for a couple of years. Does he really want to do that? Does he really want to be the fucking Crash Davis to Drake May's Nuke Lelouch?
I don't
I
think he's
don't
got.
think Jim
I
has
mean,
that
I don't
rep.
know. Like, what are this? I mean, did Texas cut him or just not resign him? Like,
I think he was led 1 year left, and then from the leg injury, I'm not sure
yeah.
exactly how that went down, but
No, he's coming off
they
that.
they would
Yeah.
have signed him if they wanted him, I would think.
Right. And it's just
Yeah.
like that, not worth it.
No,
Okay. Trey Lance is still not on a team.
yeah,
So he's thrown only like in from between high school, college, and the pros, he's thrown a total of like 500 passes.
mm-hmm.
And there were like half the league threw 500 passes last
He's
year.
got that Mike Glennon charm.
Well, now he's Jim, this is good news. He's linked to the Rough Riders.
Yeah, so they got him in their like whatever their supplemental draft, whatever they call it, where they get to claim players
Yeah.
their rights if they ever do end up going to the CFL.
Mm-hmm.
This is the CFL, not the UFL.
This is
No.
the CFL. The Rough Riders are the CFL.
I thought isn't the Washington Roughnecks or the
Houston
The Houston Roughnecks. This is the Saskatchewan Rough Riders.
Okay.
Isn't there two Rough Riders in?
There was. So the Ottawa now Red Blacks also used to be the Rough Riders.
Okay. What is a red black?
That's a very good question.
What's that?
Their logo is a buzzsaw. So I don't really
Oh.
know.
I like that. All right.
So I don't know, man. I mean, I don't think he'd
It would be
start.
fun just to see him on the field.
It would be
you
awesome.
know?
I think his style would work really well in the CFL. I don't think he would start.
Yeah. I mean,
Because I think Trevor Harris, he's got the veteran presence there. He's the guy, but like he'd be fun to see in the back. They definitely drop a couple guys.
by the way, guess how much he made if you account for his career earnings and the amount of passes he had since high school. How much would you say he earned per pass?
Like since after high school?
Yes.
20,000 to throw a pass. I'm gonna
I,
guess.
$68,000
I was gonna say he
per
only had one.
pass.
He only had like one full season of college,
Yeah.
and then like zero full seasons of the NFL.
You
That
know,
sounds about right. That's crazy.
yeah. I wouldn't even
He made
call him like,
30 over 34 million.
you know how they do like the top 10 bust list.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even consider him a bust because a bust is somebody that everybody thought was a sure thing. Now, San Francisco thought they were going to outsmart everybody and develop this guy and draft him, but it's not like even like
It
a
might
Zach
just be
Wilson.
classified as a worst pick as opposed to bust.
Yes,
Yeah.
because he wasn't Ryan Leaf. Like Ryan Leaf made the Rose Bowl at Washington State.
Right.
Some of these other
Yeah,
guys,
not Tony Mandrich or
yeah, or Blair Thomas or Kajana Carter. I think Kajana Carter won the Heisman.
yeah.
So like there's like busts where they had incredible college careers and the NFL was like, this guy can't miss. Whereas Trey Lance was like, he hasn't played, but he had a great combine. He's got this and this. He's got intangibles. It's like I don't even consider Anthony Richardson. I consider him a bust, but not like a legendary
No, see, I think
bust.
those are, the Trey Lance, Anthony Richardson, I feel are just they're gambles,
They won the combine.
Yeah, like that year San Francisco, they had, they had a great team. They just had a bunch of injuries that
Yeah.
year. And so it was just like, well, we got this number 3 pick. What should we do with it? We got everything else. Let's just
And I mean, if you look at it, they got two quarterbacks. It's a lot like when the Washington drafted in the same year Cousins and
RG3.
Griffith.
Yeah.
And Cousins worked out. And it's kind of like where Purdy, I mean, if Trey Lance is doing what Brock Purdy is doing, you're like, yeah, it's a pretty darn good draft pick. So there's that, but it's just a third pick overall. Those don't grow on trees. You don't get those that often.
right. Okay. Other news, sad news, RIP George Foreman.
Yes, the grill.
One of the
What a
best
life.
sports characters of my
I used to
lifetime.
love the George Foreman grill.
Who didn't like
I still love it.
Maddie, those things came out like when we were all getting of college age,
90s,
and
baby.
like, yeah.
They were all about like losing weight.
Right. And he was still really fat. So it was
Yeah.
like
So there's a Dabbleverse George Foreman connection I can bore you with, but I don't know.
yeah, why not? Fuck it.
So for Hackamania 2, back to the hack.
Back to the
we still haven't decided whether we're gonna go.
Yes.
They invited Steel Toe to come. And I don't know if you heard this, Luke. Steel Toe said he would only go because he thinks he's a boxer, even though he's 0-2.
All right.
He had this fantasy that he would go to box Patrick Melton, Carl from WATP,
Right.
Tukey, Cardiff Electric, and somebody else. And Nick Rekieta. And he was like, just like George Foreman did 5 guys versus 1. I'm going to do that there. And it just backfired on him completely. So when I think of George
what's the
Foreman,
George Foreman 5 versus 1?
You didn't know about that?
Not off the top of I don't remember that.
Yeah, he did an exhibition. This is wild.
Uh-huh.
They found out that he did an exhibition and it was a total like bust because he fought like the biggest stiffs and he burnt out himself. And Muhammad Ali was his biggest rival and he was there heckling him the whole time. So George Foreman looked like an idiot doing it. Like it was one of those things like, watch this guy box 5 guys in one night. And it totally backfired.
Wait, so he just burned out and it didn't.
Well, he won because they were such stiffs, but it wasn't like.
It didn't look impressive.
It wasn't impressive. It was a total like disaster.
Yeah.
And Muhammad Ali won because Muhammad Ali was funny and was heckling.
Yeah. So he had such an interesting story. Like
Yes.
I didn't know about him until he re-won the heavyweight champion.
Sure. Yeah.
So he was he was just kind of a going nowhere in life. And then he got onto boxing.
Boxing again.
And he became an Olympic champ. And this was like in the 60s. And he was waving the American flag too, which was not very popular to do at that time during Vietnam and civil rights issues and things like that. And he wanted people to know. And then he became the youngest, or not the youngest champ, but he was,
Oldest.
well, at 24, when he beat Joe Frazier, one of the toughest guys around, knocked him down like six
Smoking
times.
Joe.
So, at this time, like George Foreman was known as like a mean, angry,
Yeah.
bully guy, completely divorced from what you would know him as, the last 20 years or so. And then
Mhm.
he eventually lost to Ali at the Rumble in the Jungle when Ali did the rope-a-dope, um, which is one of the most coolest
Great
boxing strategies.
documentary, When We Were Kings.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Highly recommended for any sports fan. And that like fucked him up so much because he's totally expected to beat everyone he faced and sort of started a downward trajectory, even though he beat
Yeah.
Frazier again. And he was done in about 3 years after that. And then he was out of the sport for like 10 years. And after about 7 years of being back in the heavyweight division and 20 years from the time he was last champion, the longest gap ever in boxing
I
history.
remember when he came back, I was 12, and I remember they used to do Friday Night Boxing on ESPN.
Yeah.
This is the content they had, Jim, way back in the day. And I didn't know who he was, but they're like, this old guy is coming back, and is this a mistake? And they were almost like knocking him, like he's crazy to come back. And he wasn't really impressive in the first fight. I still remember it. And then he just started building up momentum. And then this guy, Michael Moore, I think he might have beat Holyfield. He might have upset Holyfield. And then he fought Michael Moore and he was getting killed. And he got one lucky punch in, and he knocked him out. And he became the champion. And that it was like 40 all. He was like over 40. It was a big deal. And then the Foreman grill, and then he became lovable. He became this big, lovable, gentle
Yeah,
guy.
totally reverse of
And the funny thing about Hulk Hogan, because there's a great Cornette thing about why Hogan's a liar. So Hogan claims that the Foreman grill was offered to him first, and he turned it down. And I think Foreman made like
200 million, over
200
200 million
Over 200
from the
million,
grill
maybe,
and
yeah.
all the other little products,
So Hogan, who's a liar, who also claimed that Metallica wanted his the bassist,
Oh, that's true.
said that like he was offered it first. But I think somebody else was offered it and they turned it down like an idiot.
I'm sure it was. That's a very popular thing to do, just to
Yeah.
go to a celebrity to endorse your product. And,
Yeah.
but that's like, yeah, that was before that's all the celebrities do nowadays before.
Well, the celebrities are making their own products now.
Well, that's the equivalent.
Yeah.
Somebody just goes to them and goes, "Hey,
right,
you want to be the face of this company?"
Celebrity that will like turn down Star Wars or
Right.
turn down like Indiana Jones or something.
Yeah. No, the celebrities don't turn down anything anymore. They
Nope,
are
no.
just fucking sluts with their buttholes
Exactly.
gaping wide open, just at money just shooting right up
used to
their ass. I'm
love
looking at you, Ryan Reynolds.
I used to love making baked chicken on the Foreman grill. And I love like the juice that would come down.
Yeah. And you felt healthy, like, oh yeah.
You really did, because you're like, this is like
All the fat's just going away, draining into the fat.
That's all about the DDP workout.
Are you still doing that, Maddie?
3 times a day.
Oh, I love it, dude. I'm gonna come over and do that with
this
you
right here. Diamond cutter. Jack it up. Diamond cutter.
So funny how much I used to hate DDP, mainly because of his hair.
Bro,
but now I
always
really
thought he
like
was
the
a
guy.
cheese ball.
He was a cheese
The
ball.
guy is a fucking saving my life. I'm telling you.
Well, you should write to him.
I have a very heavy friend that Luke knows, Danny, and he's over 400 pounds. And I yell at him every day, you got to do this. And I send him videos every day of fat people who lost a lot of weight.
Are you going to show up to Danny's house with DDP?
Yeah. No, I'm going to show up.
No, you should show up there with DDP.
I want him to try like 3 minutes. All I ask is he gives me 3 minutes. It's gonna be next time I see you, we're gonna do it.
Yeah, I would love to. That sounds fantastic.
You'll love it. I guarantee you do it, you will get hooked. And you look great, you're in great shape, but like it just feels good
Yeah,
to
no,
do.
I need to do something athletic though.
And stuff I couldn't do like 2 weeks ago, I can do. It's amazing.
Yeah, I'm pretty much the
Change.
same age George Foreman was when
Jim,
he
I'm going to send you my workout
won the
too.
championship, and
Okay.
I'm
Although
not
I
as good
think a
as
little
shape.
girth on Jim is part of his character.
Yeah, then he would be Slim Jim.
I'm
You
really
know? It wouldn't be
enjoying your AFL videos, but
Thank you, Maddie. I
What if
appreciate
Jim
that.
lost weight and became a model though?
Jim, I hate to say it, you're kind of like this guy that's like, you have this comment, and I'm a comedian, so I know it's funny sometimes, but you got this comedy mind that just a lot of people don't get, but it's so good. Like the AFL shit is so. Have you seen his videos, Luke, about it? The Arena Football League.
I can't keep track. I'm not on social
They're great.
media like I used to be, so that used to be my avenue to see most of them.
They're fantastic.
Yeah.
My trick, Maddie, is that I try and do everything 100% genuinely, and then I know if I go into it like being serious, that it's going to be stupid enough that it's funny. Because the one thing I hate is people who like try to be bad on purpose.
Yeah.
And like they act like they're too cool for it, or they act like
It's
they're
like
in on the
everybody
joke.
just like, they start talking like they're awkward and
I'm gonna compare you to geniuses.
I try and do everything 100%. Like when I'm in
to
character, it's 100% genuine.
Yeah, as it should be. That's
I'm
any good
compare
actor.
you to Ween. So if you listen to the Ween,
love Ween. I love Ween.
It's a very funny album, but the humor is funny because the songs, they take the songs so seriously, but they're humorous songs. And that's what the genius of it is. Like, it sounds so like a real song, and so like it could be like some like country drunk guy that's spewing out these crazy lyrics.
Yeah.
Takes itself so serious. Like the song Japanese Cowboy, I love.
Yeah.
A Japanese cowboy.
It's very sad.
Like a brother on skates, like a blizzard in Georgia, like a train running late. I mean, that's genius.
Well, even
song.
Piss Up a Rope sounds like it could come from some Al Bundy type.
It does.
Exactly.
Like everything does sound real, even if it's over the top.
And the music is great. So like you're so smart to do that. Just want to let you know.
Oh, I appreciate that. You're gonna make me blush.
I don't throw out compliments.
He never compliments me.
Not that I think you're amazing too, Luke. I think you're very funny.
Other news, we had Charles Barkley got caught. I love this. Speaking of sincerity, he got caught not paying attention to a game when he was asked to comment on it, which is his job. I'll play a quick clip of that.
Well, that's his charm.
Ernie Johnson, Clark Kellogg, Kenny the Jet Smith, and Charles Barkley. Biggest takeaway from the first half.
Well, I think that's a good question.
Thank you very much.
That's his job. I
kind of came out of left field for you.
Would you expect him not to ask you anything? Would you expect him to sit here and just let you?
Just look at you.
I was you know the game I'm watching. I'm watching Bryant against MSU.
You can't watch more than one game at a time. You watch all these TV shows at one time.
That's at night, man.
What is it now?
They're not all at the same time, man. One after the other. Ernie, I'm not gonna lie. I was paying attention to the Bryant score. So get at the Clark or Kenneth, please.
Kenny, you got I'll take first. Yeah, that's a first. I wasn't watching. That's somebody. He's a man of many.
Now that's
I'll tell you this though. He's not the first.
No, well, I remember even early on in our shows, like, when we were first starting these, I know you, Maddie, but we didn't know Jim yet. And I'm like, Jim, what do you think about this MLB All-Star selection? He's like, I don't watch baseball.
I don't watch baseball.
Well, he's not the first.
Like, okay, this is the right show for me.
Growing up in New York, there's a guy named the Scooter, Phil Rizzuto. And he was one of the best, funniest announcers for the Yankees. He was an old school shortstop in the Yankees. And this is back in the day when they do the box scores, like you fill the scores out. So one of the guys goes, he's looking at Phil's thing and it says WW. And he goes, WW, what does that mean? He goes, wasn't watching. So he was the original.
I love that.
And Phil Rizzuto never talked about the game. He always talked about cannolis and food and stuff like that. So he was the original. But if you're charming like Rizzuto, like people will tell that story in New York about Phil Rizzuto, how much they loved him for that moment. So that Charles Barkley moment, because of his charm, it just fits with who he is, and he knows how to play it so well. He's like, you think he'd be embarrassed, but he's so good at what his job.
No, he's just being
It's
honest.
very
And it's
funny.
funny because it's like, when you're listening to this shit, half the time these people are saying all the same shit. Like
Yeah.
they're only paying attention so much. And it's like it's better to hear that than just some bullshit coming out of his
We're
mouth.
gonna
That's
lose
clear.
Jim in a second.
All
You're
right.
gonna lose. Yeah, I gotta
That's
go make
it.
it. My
That's
girlfriend
all
got
we
home.
got.
That's
I'll finish it with Luke, but Jim, give me your final four and we'll let you go.
my final four is Duke, Michigan State, Florida, and is BYU in the same bracket as Duke?
I don't know.
No, I don't.
You got to know
I
that.
was gonna go BYU. Maddie,
You're not allowed to leave.
Maddie, I'm all in on UFL right now.
BYU is in the same bracket as Duke. Yes.
Okay, then I will go Duke, Michigan State.
You need like a
Florida.
Kentucky, Houston, or Purdue.
I'll go Kentucky.
Okay.
I'll do Kentucky.
All right.
All right. Have a good night, Jim.
Have a good night,
All right,
boys.
how about that
UFL
shit?
this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Wow.
All right. Can't
These
wait.
weekends.
Yeah.
Can't
Look
wait.
how happy he is.
Later, boys. I'm all in, Maddie. I'm so hyped. Bye, boys.
Bye. Well, I don't really
I'll
have
finish
much
it up.
else on the slate except that basically the World Athletic Committee is now going to start testing women to see if they were born a woman and went through puberty as a woman for athletic
That's
competitions.
hysterical.
Isn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
Like-
I think you can kind of maybe.
You get these things every like couple of years though, where there's some
Yeah.
woman who's a little stronger looking than the rest. And
That reminds me of that scene. Remember that one of the greatest Borat scenes where he goes to the old plantation and there's a woman working and
Uh-huh.
they can't tell if it's a man or a woman. And
Oh,
he's like, "Is this a man or a woman?" She's like, "I don't know." So she goes, so the lady asks, she's like, "Do all young ladies like you work like this?" And to get an answer. And then he goes, "Is she?" And she just goes, "No." Like,
right.
awesome.
It's like the old Pat sketch at SNL.
Yeah, but
That's really
that's
funny.
pretty wild.
Oh my
Let me
god.
come down to. That'd be funny if Caitlin Clark failed it.
Oh right. And she had to go play with the
everybody was like, "She's
boys.
a fraud."
I had this other great thing that had nothing to do with sports about graffiti in Pompeii.
Yeah.
And it was shit. Let me see real
The
quick.
only thing I know about Pompeii is Live at Pompeii, Pink Floyd is pretty cool.
Yeah, let me see if I can find this here.
By the way, next week we should do the Mankind. It was last
Oh
night.
yeah, it's Dark Side of the Ring is back.
Yeah.
Okay, I
Can't
did
wait.
find a good site that has some of these Pompeii from, you think of it, the old antiquities, and you think
Yeah.
like
And this
proper
is in
and-
Greece, I take it.
elevated. What's that?
This is in Greece.
No, Pompeii, the old Italian island that got blown up by the volcano.
Why did I think it was in Greece?
You think everything's in Greece? No, I don't.
I
know.
thought that's where the Pink Floyd thing was, right?
What's the Pink Floyd thing?
They have a great live album where they did in an empty stadium called Live at Pompeii, where they're
Oh.
playing, and it's really cool sounding.
No, pretty
like
sure that's
echoes.
Italian. But let me read you some of this graffiti because you wouldn't really think of that. So
Sure.
this is just written on around town at a bar, at a brothel. Here's one that says, "Weep, you girls, my penis has given you up. Now
Weep,
it penetrates men's behinds. Goodbye, wondrous femininity."
This is where the Olympics used to be.
Yeah. Well, no, that's Greece.
What year did that come out?
This is Italy. This is like from, I don't know, the 1600s or something.
It just shows that we're still pervs.
We always
Like
have
nothing,
been.
nothing will ever change.
We always have been.
Yeah.
And there's one that just said, "I screwed the barmaid."
Okay. Anybody with like 2 Live Crew lyrics? Me so horny.
I'm gonna go through this again. We'll jump on this next week with Jim
Yeah.
because I feel like Jim would
Sure.
appreciate.
I'll
this more.
appreciate it a little more than I do.
All right, buddy. Anything to add before we get out of here?
No, just I didn't know the UFL started. Baseball starts tomorrow. It's
Yeah.
freezing. Even for here, it's freezing.
Your gambling options are open, my man.
A lot of gambling, a lot of football, a lot of baseball, a lot of March Madness. It's a great weekend to be a sports fan. I just wish the weather was warmer, and we'll do Dark Side of the Ring, Mick Foley, and then in 2 weeks, Ludwig Borga, which was like he was like a real Nazi.
Really?
Yeah, so that'll be really interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's week 2. He used to be the bad guy versus Lex Luger in the 90s.
That was his. Wait, what was his name? Ludwig Borga?
That? Yeah, he was like Finland. He's from Finland. He would be like, America with your pollution and your filth. This is filth, America.
Oh, I love those kind of bad guys. Those were always my favorite. All right, buddy.
All right.
Well, we'll let you guys go. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you all next week for another exciting edition of the Sports Hold. Bye-bye.